Go quick, quick, go there, go now. Okay, so
Zoil juice.
oh, so these are the topics you came up with. These are the ones that they came up with. Chat, it literally has a filter on it. Like,
why does forcing on you beat the record
content is rarely
sold?
made for the female gaze. Does that make sense?
Oh, well, yeah, but what, the female gaze. What about the gay?
It's
why only the
always
gays though?
Wait, what about what?
You said the female gaze. Then what you said?
Not lesbians.
Hmm? I thought she meant the kind is made for the female
Maybe
gaze.
some air on stream.
Okay, wait. That's what I thought right now as well.
Have you heard about
Oh
like
wow,
the
you
male
have
gaze?
good vocabulary. I don't use gaze at all. I don't use that word at all.
There's no other.
Chat, I actually thought that right now as well. Like,
Data centers are expensive.
I really appreciate that you stopped tolerating that kind of bullshit.
chat, what is that? Chat, I don't know. I don't know what this is. I literally don't even know what that is.
And complicated. They take vast amounts of water, electricity, and land. But what
False.
data centers are expensive and complicated. They take vast amounts of water, electricity, and land. But what if we didn't have to build data centers on land at all? What if we could build them in space?
Just false.
That's exactly what companies like Blue Origin and SpaceX are attempting to do. In fact, earlier this year, SpaceX filed an application with the FCC asking to launch a cluster.
Guys, I cannot debunk it every time that somebody makes a claim. I can't. We've already debunked it. We fully debunked. It's an actual debunked. Next.
Of up to 1 million satellites to build an orbital data center.
What happened to me, buddy? It's not because you want things to be. Okay, listen. It's not because you want something to be true and you're gonna get me mad. If it's not true, then it's true. It's not because you get mad that it becomes true. Buddy, it has been debunked, flat out. Flat out.
That's part of their pitch to investors ahead of their anticipated IPO later this year. But just
All right.
hot when they run, but also Sam Altman says that the average ChatGPT query uses around 0.000085 gallons of water, or roughly 1/15 of a teaspoon. But then at the same time, somehow a Morgan Stanley projection predicted annual water use for cooling and electricity generation by AI data centers could reach around 1,000 billion liters by 2028. That's 1 trillion liters, an 11-fold increase from 2024 estimates. AI water use is extremely easy to mislead people about for a few different reasons. And one of them is that the average American has not updated their understanding of what water use is since they were in elementary school. And this is fine. We don't all need to understand this stuff, but then it gets dragged into the discourse, and of course we all talk out of our asses while experts rub their temples from the sidelines. So look, as far as I can tell, though OpenAI does not let people inspect the sources of their data, both of these numbers are true. 1/15 of a teaspoon per query and 1 trillion liters of water per year by 2028. And you might think, okay, well, Morgan Stanley must just be imagining a future where there's a tremendous number of queries. But no. Actually, no matter how you multiply 1/15 of a teaspoon, you're never going to get anywhere close to 1 trillion liters of water use. The thing is, water consumption analysis, indeed any resource consumption analysis for an industry or a product or a conversation with a chatbot, is really tricky to do. There are multiple fields of economics and science devoted to this. If you're going to try and package that up into some nice, neat numbers that the average person will understand, you're going to be fudging a lot of stuff. So this seems like a good time to actually get into why it's so hard. But first, this video is brought to you by a little outfit called Ground News. Ground News is a website and app that pulls coverage of the same story from tons of different outlets from all over the political spectrum and all over the world. 40% off the Vantage plan using the QR code that's been on the screen the whole time, or by using my link, which is ground.news/Hank, which you can also click in the description. So, why do data centers use water at all? So the actual computer chips that do the processing for AI get hot when they run, but also they don't work as well when they get too hot. So you got to cool everything down so that everything runs optimally and the chips have their optimal lifespan. And you're optimizing everything so you get like the most processing power per unit of dollars you spend. Part of that is cooling everything down. And one of the most efficient ways to do that is with water. Many facilities use evaporative cooling, where they literally turn clean water into water vapor, and that water vapor carries the heat away. It's warmer, and it's taking the heat away. Good. Now, that's not the only way you do it. Some sites recycle water, or they use non-potable water, so water that's come out of a sewage treatment plant that you couldn't drink. But most of them still rely on fresh municipal water, the same water that a water company would be delivering to you, they are delivering to them. And this is important because municipal water is a kind of water. And yes, there are many different kinds of water, and the differences matter. Because look, no one's destroying the water here. The water that evaporates, it's just going to fall down somewhere else eventually. But it does evaporate. It does go away. It is used up. And this is generally clean water that could be used for something else. It's been processed to be clean enough to drink and delivered using the same infrastructure as the rest of the city. And all that processing and all that infrastructure costs money, and it can't handle an infinite amount of water going through the system. This is industrial water use, but it's usually the same water as everything else. It's the municipal water. Now, OpenAI did not release information on where the water use figures come from, but I can make some guesses. First, Sam is talking about the water use per query. But importantly, different queries work different ways with AI. And many queries will actually result in multiple queries you never even see. This is something Sam Altman knows, but it's not something that most people know. Behind the scenes, when you ask GPT-5 a question, it frequently thinks. They call this reasoning models, and it thinks by like preparing and sending out other queries, and then reading the results of those queries, and then sending out more queries, and then maybe like it might spur a search of the internet. So if you ask it a somewhat complex question, it will run an initial query, and then it will take that response, it will evaluate it using another query. It sometimes runs follow-ups until it's happy with the final answer. All those extra queries are additional queries. So one query might not be one query. Sometimes it is, but sometimes it's a bunch. So this in itself might multiply this 1/15 of a teaspoon by like 15. I don't know, of course, because OpenAI doesn't share any of this information. But even in that situation, it's still just a teaspoon. I drink teaspoons all day long. That's, for me, not really the lie in Sam's lie here. And I am going to call it a lie because I think it is. The actual lie is that it's only counting the water used during the part of the life cycle when you're actually querying the chatbot, not all of the other parts of the process that are necessary for this system to exist. This is the big difference between Morgan Stanley's analysis and Sam Altman's. There are a lot of other...
We watched this, but Chad doesn't believe it. We have to do it again, because every single time that we've watched something that is backed by at least unless you have better research, or then you have something else that's better. Wait, what
Parts
else?
of this process
I understand.
that are
Maybe
not the
you realize
final
it.
step of the consumer querying the chatbot. And you've probably thought of one of them, but you probably haven't thought of the biggest one. And I want to do a test right now and find out if I'm right. So if you thought of one place where the chatbot is using water that isn't the query, you probably thought of the training. The thing about these systems is that the training never really stops, even while we're using one model like GPT-5, which is actually a bunch of models all stuck together. OpenAI and its competitors are constantly training newer, bigger versions that no one can use yet. And to create these models, like the system runs for weeks or months on enormous clusters of GPUs, burning through electricity and water for cooling. It's not really fair to treat that training footprint as separate from every conversation you have with the model. The conversation could not happen without the training. So if you want to be honest, you gotta make some choices. So probably you want to spread the water used to train all of the models in GPT-5 and spread it across every query people make. Problem here is,
Whatever. Yeah, whatever. I mean, I like that chat. You see now. It's not proving me wrong. Bro. Just go watch it. Just go watch it. We're not gonna do this.
How feasible is this really? To find out, we asked an expert.
It's just incorrect.